Hello again everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today something a little different. We have a 2v2 for you today. The map we have seen once before, Green Haven. It can be a 3v3 map, but today we're seeing it in 2v2 and instantly we're seeing some big differences between the two players, or two sets of players rather. Is the blue colored team, the cool colored team, have decided to spawn very close to each other, meaning that they're going to be able to help each other in times of need and hardship, whereas their opponents, the warm colored team, Barcast and Rexel, have decided to go for the two opposite sides of the map. This gives them both plenty of room to spread out, but also does mean that to assist each other when times get hard, it's going to be difficult. Now, Rexel in this bottom corner here in a prime position to take this solar. He is playing Armada today and it is going bots. They're not their opponent. Their teammate, Barcast TV. What a legend in yellow today, playing as Cortex, in going vehicles as well. Shotty in the right hand corner here playing Armada bots, and finally in blue InDaClub as Armada bots. So only a single Cortex player on this map today, and instantly kicking off we see a res bot going straight to get the rocks at that reclaim. There's a couple of hundred metal there, is very valuable early on. And now Shotty's ticks are chasing down that res bot and manages to destroy it. Meanwhile, a couple of ticks in the base will be able to get a metal extractor. Yep, question is how much more will it manage to get? Nothing else. There's some good early harass there by Shotty, killing a res bot and a metal extractor, basically for very, very little cost. Now, as we quickly look at this map, a few things to consider is that all of these hills are going to block radar. No player has radar yet, so it's hard for me to kind of show you effectively. But all of these kind of hills and the little bumps will block line of sight. So you are going to have to put radar on high ground, like on this hill, or maybe at the top here. And that is going to give better vision, but it's still going to be lots of blind spots, which is what makes this map fun. You need to be paying attention a lot to radar in order to be able to see things coming. Now, talking of geos, there's a geo point here, 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 and here. And quickly looking at this, Barcast does not lose a construction vehicle. Back to the map. Yep, there's 4 geos across the map, quite spread out along a line in the middle. So players, they're not the safest geos in the world. Shotty's pinging something. Are the 2 Rexel pawns that are making their way across. The biggest worry though for Rexel right now is this. 8 pawns making their way into Rexel's base. He's only just got radar up, so he's only just managed to see them, and now Shotty's going, hello. There's only 3 pawns to defend. Rexel not moving his comm out to pressure these, and that is a lot of damage, losing huge amount of energy production. Will Shotty go in for more here? Are getting a construction vehicle, construction bot, and pretty much the entirety of Rexel's base. Is he going to be able to get the factory though? There's only 3 pawns left. Rexel, problems with his micro, trying to repair with his commander. He could have moved it round, and the factory gets destroyed. And Rexel now with nothing left but 2 very low health windmills. Not good for him at all. Barcast being a great guy, handing over some energy, but there's 1 constructor left, slowly spreading out. But all Rexel has now is 3 units. That's it. Oh, Barcast being another great guy here, giving off his entire army to Rexel. Now, that is a bit of a dangerous move from him because, well, Barcast has nothing to defend himself with now. And if InDaClub sends this force here, which is actually intercepting the reinforcements that was given into Barcast, that might be a bit of a problem. InDaClub with some ticks here, trying to harass Rexel even more, getting most of the metal extractors. Rexel now with a single metal extractor, which Shotty just killed. Rexel down to 0 metal extractors. It kind of feels like bullying. Oh, but this pawn, the incisors unable to path up the hill, and Shotty gets the last constructor of Rexel. Rexel literally with nothing. Not a single constructor. He's just built the factory back and getting his 1 metal extractor. Rexel's economy is literally in the trash right now. Leaving Barcast as the only competent player. No, that's not a very nice thing to say. Capable player on this team. As Rexel is completely without anything. I'm wondering how much longer he's going to be in the game for. Because the issue is that obviously you have to amass a big enough force to actually kill the commander. And that's going to lose you some units. So you kind of don't want to waste the units. Rexel is basically out of the game for at least a little while in order to catch up. So would it be better pressuring the one guy that's left in the fight, Barcast, rather than taking out the weaker Rexel? Going for a self-destruct now on the Centurion, and it does go through, denying a huge chunk of metal. And also, the biggest point here right now is probably just pushing Rexel off of the factory. He's like been so hurt. This Resbot will do a decent job at resurrecting thing. And the pawn span did try to get through, but didn't make it. Shotty loving the new pawn meta. And more units being fed to Rexel by Barcast. Barcast doing his utmost to try and keep his teammate alive for as long as possible. And to be fair, if it wasn't for Barcast's help right now, he probably would have been dead quite a long time ago. But now what InDaClub needs to do is needs to put pressure on his opponent and needs to pressure Barcast. If all of Barcast's units are going down to Rexel, which obviously, of course, InDaClub does not know this, but if that is the case, then making Barcast keep units up top rather than giving them to Rexel is gonna be what sets them apart. And now that one person has a radar down, you can see what I mean. There's like loads of little holes where you don't have vision. Now Shotty being extremely ballsy here, pushing up right outside of his opponent's base and starting to build LLTs right there. This is extremely risky. He does have the advantage, so it kind of makes sense for him to double down like this. But because of the forces being gifted to Rexel by Barcast, Shotty now starting to lose some ground. That was a D-gun on an LLT that we just saw down there. And now this force here is enough to kill Shotty's commander. And Shotty's just said, realized that by the looks of it, going, I'm dead. And this is very unfortunate. Shotty maybe making a bit of a mistake. Oh.
Game started.
Don't know what happened there. Shotty losing all of his forces. We can see now InDaClub rushing to assist Shotty. But there's not a lot of these forces left. There's 10, with more on its way. Oh, but as we quickly switch over, InDaClub does manage to make it in. Huh. That little paw did a jump. Oh, Shotty's game completely crashes. And he's now gifted all of his stuff to InDaClub. Interesting. Shotty unable to get back in, it seems. And now, although Rexel was basically out, it does seem like it's now a 2v1 of InDaClub versus Rexel and Barcast. It was almost a 2v1 anyway, with Rexel being almost taken out of the game, but now it just completely swings. Seems that Shotty completely kicked out of the game, unable to get back in. This could just be because InDaClub has obviously taken the stuff. But rather than waiting for a moment, it seems... Oh, yep. Shotty has dropped out, leaving InDaClub on his own. Now, this is going to be tough. InDaClub has to micro 2 fronts now. This is going to be very, very APM intensive for him. And the question is, does he have the APM to win against 2 players? Rexel was taken out of the fight pretty much entirely, but has been slowly but surely rebuilding. Resbots are out there resing all that stuff, and you can see this army of pawns slowly chasing down the remnants of Rexel's forces. He is losing units bit by bit, though. But in the meantime, InDaClub has just been slowly building a wall of LLTs right in front of Rexel's base. But we can see now again, Barcast just giving his entire army away to Rexel in an attempt to keep him alive, giving him a whole bunch of units. And the question is how much damage is InDaClub going to be able to inflict here? As he does another run by of the base. There's a lot of defenses there now that weren't there before. Getting both metal extractors and, again, some more energy production. But with so many LLTs there, it's going to be hard to push in any further. Well, we've got 4 LLTs and a beamer. Like, that's a lot of LLTs. And now the reinforcements from Barcast have made their way down towards Rexel. Now, I understand the point of trying to finish off an opponent. Because he wants to finish Rexel off, so he doesn't have to deal with him anymore. But he kind of needs to provide the pressure onto Barcast, so the Barcast can't just keep shifting off forces down to him. Now, this is a dangerous position here still. InDaClub has one of his 2 commanders now down on this front line. This is a sizable chunk of forces, 18 total, with 3 rocket bots here slowly whittling down the LLT defenses. 2 grave robbers have been gifted as well. To up here, we see them, to Rexel. There are a lot of units here. As we select the commander, we can see a lot of metal and bits and bobs, and that will help turn the tide. Question is, how long is it going to take Rexel to push in? This is unfortunate. This rocket bot just shooting at this metal extractor, but hitting the sentry instead. God, love radar wobble. Completely missing. I've never seen rocket bots miss so much. This is why it's sometimes useful to just at least have a tick with that increased vision. We can see the LLTs start to fall. Let's have a quick look elsewhere. Barcast in the middle, building exploiters and LLTs to kind of guard his front line here. InDaClub with a huge amount of pawns covering a large space in the middle, 48 in total. Just trying to cover as much ground. Meanwhile, on the bottom, there's 36 forces versus 39, and Rexel obviously pumping out more and more as he goes. It does seem like InDaClub has just finished a Tech 2 vehicle lab, which is why he's not actually actively applying pressure at this point. See Barcast with lashes, missile trucks here, with an attempt to just try and slowly start peppering the LLTs that were there. Rexel also getting a bit impatient now with the rocket bots and just pushes in with his forces, taking out a few more. LLTs are, of course, great defensive buildings, but they're kind of a stopgap for actual defenses, but also a stopgap in terms of like, oh, I need something here that's just going to kill a couple of scouts, right? Or a couple of incisors. Or, well, not even a couple of incisors, because it doesn't deal with incisors very well. But you know what I mean. They're not made for stopping entire armies rolling through. Oh. And they're doing the tango here at a bit at the bottom, moving back and forward, trying to bait each other into moving. Now we see there's a fight here, but there's also a fight in the middle that actually going to switch to this fight here as Barcast gets attacked. Commander down to 86% health. Mixture of Tech 2 and Tech 1 here. Trying to surround Barcast with some great D-guns. Pretty much every single D-gun managed to kill something. A Barcast down to 40 health. 40% health. And also the entire army of InDaClub along that south side also gets taken out here. And now this is looking dangerous for InDaClub. He lost pretty much his entire army there in 2 simultaneous attacks. And with that Tech 2 transition, he is extremely limited to units. Now, InDaClub's commander, this one here, will go down, and it does not take a sizable chunk of the army with him either. The Jaguars are rushing down to try and save some of this economy, but there are LLTs and a beamer just been built, which should stop those pawns. And the Jaguars also arrive just in time, and Rexel's force will now have to take a turn back and run away. Meanwhile, in the middle, Barcast obviously getting a huge chunk of change when it comes to Reclaim. 1.8k of Reclaim ready to be had, and it looks like he's rezzing it instead. Now, what we did here there, very briefly, is a bomber taking off. Currently up to 7 bombers. There's going to be more very shortly. Now, bombers is an interesting idea. With his opponent being Tech 2, he could do a good bombing run here, but with Jaguars being built, Jaguars have AA. If InDaClub is able to see the bombing run coming and has no units attacking, where he uses the Jaguars to defend, he could just move the Jaguars to defend. And their AA will do a decent job against the bombers. Kind of feeling like this tank force would have been better suited to attack at the same time as the bombers in order to try and redirect some of those Jags. And as we select InDaClub, we can see his economy doing tremendously well. All the numbers are currently in the blue with the exception of army value. But here come the bombers. All grouped into one big blob. And the question is, where are they going to go? We're going to see a big hit on the base. Right now, we select Barcast's point of view. He knows where the commander is. It looks like he's going for the commander. Manages to get both of the construction bots, but not the commander. Flak is out on the base now. So he goes for the Geo. And then falls back. Now this is 1,650 metals worth of bombers that realistically, for what they did not accomplish much whatsoever. I mean, they killed a tier 1 Geo and 2 constructors. Not really enough to write home about. But they are on their way to try and save Rexel once again. They get 1 lightning or Jaguar so far. 2 bombers. No, 1 bomber down so far. And some miss-bombering here, and a lot of those have been killed now. Meanwhile, still 4 Jaguars left alive. These bombers, though, kind of a waste. Haven't really accomplished anything. And have been completely taken out by those Jaguars. Oof, not good. Continuous pressure being applied to Rexel, though. He does not want Rexel to get up any more economy and be able to rebuild. And with Barcast's transition now over to Tech 2 from Air beforehand, he is also limited with units himself, as the kind of long time between the transition of units from air to bombers to vehicles is obviously taking its toll. Now, one thing of note here we do see, this is somewhat intentional, somewhat not intentional. For new players here, Barcast has built kind of like a circle or a U-shape of solars here. This is generally, at least in the early game, to kind of help protect against raiding. As we've said before on the channel, when solars get shot, they close up. And when they close up, they have increased armor, which means they can take more damage. Now, solars are pretty good because obviously they cost only metal to rebuild, and we can we can see all of these turrets, comm turrets here are within range of the solars. So as soon as he needs a bit of metal and he's got the energy covered, he's just eating one of these solars and then moving on to the next thing. So solars are pretty good investment. Oh, interesting. So there is only 1 commander left right now, and that is Rexel's. In the club. Oh, we missed that entirely. Yeah, we missed that entirely. Barcast's commander is dead. I will have had that on the screen earlier on, so apologies for missing that when that happened, but don't worry, you will have seen it. And it seems like rather than risk a push here, InDaClub is just going to finish him with atomic bombers, one of the best air units in the game, in my opinion. And Rexel has nothing to stop this. In come the bombs, and that is it. Tremendous job from InDaClub. Persevering even when your teammate left the game. Probably due to no fault of his own, bear in mind. But still, Shotty did some tremendous pressure earlier on, completely shutting down Rexel. And Barcast clearly gets the Friendship Award for just doing tremendous work to keep his teammate in the game, constantly gifting him stuff. He could have focused on doing stuff himself, but instead decided he's going to do his best to keep Rexel in the game as long as possible. And yeah, so that's this 2v2. Let me know what you thought about it. Don't forget, if you've got any of your own matches that you'd like to send me, either send them over to me on Discord or pop them in an email to me, and I will grab them. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.